Welcome back to Control the Chaos Mama podcast. I'm your host, Angel McElhaney, ADHD entrepreneur, boudoir photographer, multi-passionate extraordinaire here. Anyway, so glad you're here. Today we are going to talk about imposter syndrome and how you can become a recognized expert in your field. And so this is something that I know I have struggled with, especially being a multi-passionate. It's like I love so many things. How in the world could I use them to just niche to one thing? How can I use this to still become an expert and show people what I know and become more of a specialist versus a generalist whenever I love so many things? And so today, that is what we're going to do. And so we're going to start out by thinking about you. I want you to think about all of your passions, all of your skills, all your things that you love to do. And what I want you to do is find the core messages that are like the overlapping parts, because that is going to be things that you can narrow down into. I also want you to think of the fact that you can do what you want. I know, right? It's empowering, right? So know that you can do all the things that you want to do, but you will not do them well unless you do one at a time fully. And so once you have something kind of all taken off, then it's easier to add. And that's a lot of what happens with resolutions and things like that. It's like we're trying to do everything at once instead of building. And so if you, for instance, with habits, you're going to start with drinking water. Then after that, you start with, maybe just like adding more veggies and then adding movement, like any, things like that. It's just going to be easier to stack on the habits one at a time versus changing everything. Change is hard. We rebel against it a lot of times. And so I just want you to be aware of that and know that that starting small is okay. Okay. All right. And so in order to be a recognized expert, I think that you need to have consistency then in one area. And so with me, that is podcasting. And so if you like to talk more than you like to be on video or write, then podcasting might be a good way for you to be consistent that way. Right now I'm batching episodes, so I'm able to do multiple episodes at one time. I'm doing it based on cycle syncing. Go check out that episode 35, I believe. If you want to learn more about that, that's when you have more energy and things like that. You can gauge your expectations based on that and keep momentum going so that you'll be able to get more done once you finally start. The starting is what I think is really hard. Once you get that ball rolling, it's going down the hill, right? Momentum. Anyway, and so I think that if you can consistently show up in at least one spot, then commit to that and make that a non-negotiable. That will help you to become more of a recognized expert. I also love that podcasting gives me the flexibility to be able to bring on other guests in areas that I'm not necessarily an expert in. And so I think this is very helpful in bringing and filling in the gaps, and bringing in people if it's not my zone of genius. And so that is definitely something that you could do. But consistency a lot of times is a struggle. It's almost like a bad word whenever it comes to ADHD. And so knowing that it's okay to just start back. You do not have to announce it. You do not have to tell people. They probably didn't notice you were gone. So as soon as you are ready to kind of come back, just know that you full on just start. And so doing that next right step, whatever that looks like for you, is going to be super helpful in becoming and owning that you are an expert. Also, a lot of people like to have a little piece of paper that says you are an expert, you are awesome, and you did this course. And that is totally fine. If you need that piece of paper to do that, then do it. Just know that I'm a successful photographer and I didn't get a piece of paper that said that. Also, the same thing with being a mentor or something. If you've been through something and you've been on the other side of it and you have proof of that and you're consistent with that, and in other words, you can duplicate the result, then just know that that's still valid and it has value. But it all depends on you, because some people need to have that piece of paper. Just like some people can show up confident looking, with the mom bun and no makeup and all that. And other people, they need to kind of turn into a persona where they step into almost like a different persona based on, and get all ready so that they can have that confidence, which both are valid, both are great. And so just knowing that about yourself is going to be used too. So consistency, and then show up. And lastly, what I want you to do is to get data. And so this is something that a lot of times can be a struggle, but I want you to ask for those testimonials, for those reviews, so that you can literally see the amazing transformation that you put out in the world. And definitely you can share that in any way that you want. But I think those 3 steps will help you to become an expert, own what you know, and finally step into being more of a specialist in your area. I hope that this episode was helpful for you, and let's connect over on social media at angel.mcilhaney or Control the Chaos Mama podcast. And until next time, wishing you joy and abundance, Angel.